Display Tabski's new menu syncing functionality now available with Clover point of sale. If you are a current Tabski customer on Clover, your menu has already been synced over, but we're going to go through in today's video how to sync a menu for the first time and then talk about best practices as you make changes in your Clover point of sale, how to sync those over to Tabski in the future. So without further ado, we're going to get started and go ahead and sync a merchant's menu for the first time. So you'll head into the Tabski portal. Under settings, you see we now have POS integration. I'm going to go ahead and hit sync. And for the first time, it's going to ask you which taxes, which are going to pull directly from Clover. So we're going to go ahead and select both of these. Please note that you can change the name that shows in Tabski. So you'll notice this is your Clover tax name. As we move over to modifiers, same thing. You have your Clover name. If you want for any reason to change those names, you can do it right here for what will show on the mobile app for Tabski. One important thing real quick on the modifiers, you do want to make sure that your modifiers are set up on Clover the way that you want them to display on the mobile app. So one quick example, if you have maybe an option that is required they pick a meat, you don't want to give them unlimited meat options for free. So always make sure to check your modifiers so that your minimum and your maximum, which we display on the right-hand side here, are going to coincide with how you want it to show on the app, just because we don't want customers getting things for free that cost you money. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and sync over all of our modifiers. And then for categories, you can kind of check and uncheck whatever you want to sync over. And then it's actually going to have you pick the actual menus that you want to assign to these different categories. So by default, we have a food and a drink menu. If your item or category requires that it be assigned to a different menu, no worries. You can always go over and add those menus later and reassign these categories to the correct menu. So under your inventory here, you see menus. You can create new timed menus for Tabski. But for now, if you are a new merchant, you don't have those set up yet, just pick food or drink just to kind of bypass that, and then you can always change it later. So as you can see, I already have all these routed to the correct menu, so I'm going to sync that over. Then finally, it's going to show all of your items. So again, this is where you can change the name to, let's say you have a typo or something, whatever you want to display on the app, that's going to be for Tabski. Over here is what shows in Clover. So right now, I have everything checked. I'm going to kind of go through here. So I notice here that this merchant has a bunch of items that aren't assigned to categories. So I'm going to remove those because I'm going to assume that these are items that they're really just not using often, because in order for the customer, the employee ringing on the POS to actually use these items, they'd have to search for them because they're not in categories. So we'll go ahead and uncheck those. So here's another one. Another one. And obviously, if it's your menu, you're going to know it better than anybody. So almost to the bottom here. Just looking for anything with no category. I'm going to uncheck that. Okay, so it looks like we're good. So now we're going to do the final syncing. So 189 items. And boom, it's all synced over. So now, for the first time, we can go into this merchant's items, and you'll see that all of their items are now in their inventory. Couple things to note, we do need to route these items to the correct, either KDS systems if you're using those, or to your printers. So for my food menu, I'm actually going to go ahead and add for this merchant a kitchen KDS, and I'm going to add their bar KDS, so that's what they're going to be using. So just to show you real quick how to route these items in bulk, I'm going to click food, and then from there I can select all my food items, and I'm actually going to route all those to the kitchen. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing for my actual drink. So we'll uncheck that. Drink menu. And now everything's routed to my bar for the drinks. And the last thing that I'll mention here is really, really important. So as you're making changes in Clover, you need to actually click into the Tabski from your navigation in the Clover dashboard. You need to head into the settings and POS integration, and you need to click sync to actually make those changes reflect on our end. If you don't do this, it can cause issues. Like, for example, let's say you have a modifier that we already have synced over to our end. Maybe it's some different beer options, and you removed one of those beers from your taps. So you delete it in Clover. It's really important you head over here and sync it on our end, because it'll allow the customer to still order it on our end, which will cause issues. So good practice is always going to be to sync it daily if you're an active user of Tabski after making changes in Clover. Feel free to reach out to the team at Tabski, help@tabski.com with any questions. Thank you very much.